Did Trump just back down from backing Taiwan, helping Xi Jinping score a major win over Washington without firing a single shot? Taipei now appears to be losing visible support from its biggest ally, just as Beijing's military and political shadow over the island grows larger by the day. Opponents charge that, fearful of provoking Xi's wrath, Trump has effectively cancelled a $14 billion arms package for Taipei by putting it on hold at a critical moment. The United States has formally paused a $14 billion arms sale to Taiwan, even as tensions with China continue to soar in the Taiwan Strait and beyond. The update was delivered by the U.S. Navy's acting secretary, Hung Cao, during a Senate hearing on May 21st, putting the decision on the public record. Cao explained that the pause was intended to conserve munitions for America's ongoing war on Iran, arguing that U.S. forces must be fully equipped for current operations. Hung Cao said, and I quote, "Right now, we're doing a pause in order to make sure we have the munitions we need for epic fury, which we have plenty. But we're just making sure we have everything, but then the foreign military sales will continue when the administration deems necessary." End quote. Cao also stated that the decision to move forward with the Taiwan sale would ultimately be made by Secretary of War Pete Hegseth and Secretary of State Marco Rubio. A senior analyst warned that the pause will likely exacerbate anxiety in Taiwan, where leaders already question how reliable U.S. backing will be in a crisis. The same analyst argued it will make it harder for Taipei to ask its own legislature for additional defense budget in future, because lawmakers will point to stalled U.S. deliveries. Meanwhile, Taiwanese Premier Cho Jung-tai told reporters that Taipei will continue to pursue arms purchases, insisting Taiwan has no choice but to keep strengthening its defenses. Trump confirmed that he discussed the proposed arms sale with Xi Jinping during their talks in Beijing, indicating that Taiwan featured directly in his negotiations with China's leader. After that meeting, Trump publicly stated that he may or may not approve the package, leaving the fate of the deal deliberately ambiguous. The US president was also expected to speak with his Taiwanese counterpart about the sale, a conversation that could shape Taipei's expectations and strategy. If it eventually goes ahead, the $14 billion weapons package would be the largest single arms transfer to Taiwan in US history. The U.S. Congress approved the package back in January 2026, but under American law the sale still requires a final sign-off from the president to move forward. Previously, in December 2025, Trump had approved an $11 billion arms package for Taiwan, underscoring how dramatic a shift this latest pause appears to be. Trump's public hint that he might call Taiwan's President Lai now puts immediate pressure on Beijing's long-stated red line, barely a week after his supposed reset summit with Xi. On May 21st, China reiterated that it firmly opposes any form of official U.S. contact with Taiwan's leadership, repeating a position that underpins its entire approach to the island. China's foreign ministry urged Washington to implement what it called the heads of state consensus reached in Beijing, implying that a Trump-Lai call would violate understandings from the summit. Officials called on the United States to handle the Taiwan issue with prudence and to show that caution through concrete actions, not just reassuring words. Beijing warned that any direct Trump-Lai conversation would cross a red line and could undo the limited progress made in de-escalating tensions at the recent leaders' meeting.
China firmly opposes the United States engaging in official exchanges with the Taiwan region of China and resolutely opposes U.S. arms sales to Taiwan. This position has always been consistent, clear, and unwavering. China urges the United States to honor the important consensus reached at the summit between the leaders of China and the United States, fulfill the commitments and undertakings it has made, handle the Taiwan issue with the utmost prudence, stop sending wrong signals to Taiwan independent separatist forces, and take concrete actions to uphold peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait and maintain the stable development of China-U.S. relations.
Experts say a direct Trump-Lai call would cross a long-standing red line for Beijing, breaking through the informal barriers that have kept leader-to-leader contact off-limits since the 1970s. Professor Xin Qiong has warned that such a move could trigger serious turbulence in bilateral ties, or even a sharp escalation if Beijing feels its core interests have been challenged. He argued that a call would instantly undercut whatever positive momentum emerged from the recent Trump-Xi summit, making it harder to manage crises in other areas. Analysts have suggested that future meetings, including Xi's planned visit to the United States, could be overshadowed or even derailed by the fallout from any such call. Memories remain fresh of Trump's 2016 phone call with then Taiwan leader Tsai Ing-wen while he was president-elect, which triggered strong protests from Beijing at the time. That earlier conversation broke decades of US practice on Taiwan contacts and led to serious diplomatic protests, setting a precedent that still shapes Chinese sensitivities. Since 1979, Washington has recognized Beijing rather than Taipei, a policy that has left almost no room for direct leader-to-leader contact with Taiwan's presidents. Analysts warn that Trump's unpredictability means a call cannot be ruled out completely, even if most still judge it unlikely because of the risks for his broader China agenda. Rubio added that the issue of future US arms sales to Taiwan did not feature prominently in the talks, suggesting the topic was handled cautiously, if at all, during the Beijing meetings.
Did President Xi request to President Trump not to sell weapons to Taiwan?
Well, that topic has been discussed in the past. It did not feature prominently in today's discussion. We know what their position on that is already. Remember, Congress plays a role in that process as well.
Ahead of the trip, Trump himself had said he would discuss US arms sales to Taiwan with Xi Jinping, raising expectations that this contentious issue would be on the summit agenda. That pledge ran up against long-standing US policy, which generally prohibits detailed Washington-Beijing negotiations on arms sales to Taiwan in order to preserve American flexibility. At the same time, Washington has been pressuring Taipei to significantly increase its own defense budget, insisting that Taiwan must spend more on its self-defense against Chinese pressure. The Taiwan issue emerged as a major point in talks that were otherwise dominated by the conflict involving Iran and the wider Middle East crisis. During their closed-door discussions, Xi warned Trump that US support for Taiwan, if pushed too far, could lead to clashes and conflicts between Washington and Beijing. He reportedly went further, saying that if the Taiwan issue was mishandled, the United States and China could come into conflict, leaving little doubt about where China's red lines lie. Subsequently, the official White House readout on the summit appeared to skip any mention of Taiwan, adding to the sense that the topic was too sensitive to spell out publicly. Trump also seemed to dodge a question on Taiwan during his choreographed visit to the Temple of Heaven with Xi, reinforcing the impression that he did not want to publicly provoke Beijing on camera.
Did you talk about Taiwan?
Great place, great, incredible. China's beautiful.
At the same time, Taiwan declared that it would maintain close ties with the United States following Xi's threat, signaling that Taipei has no intention of backing away from its key security partner. Xi Jinping, for his part, said that US-China ties were the most important in the world and insisted we must never mess it up, underlining the paradox of a relationship that is vital yet constantly strained over Taiwan.